Hello everyone, this is Indu from IIT Roorkee pursuing data science and artificial intelligence. Today I am going to present my C++ project titled Student Attendance Manager. Now let me give you a brief introduction to my project. Now, coming to the introduction, attendance tracking plays a very important role in schools and colleges to maintain discipline and keep records of student participation. However, when it is done manually, there are chances of human errors and it can be time consuming. To solve this problem, my project provides an automated system for attendance management using the C++ programming language. It makes the process faster, more accurate, and easy to manage. Now, moving on to the problem statement, in schools and colleges, managing attendance efficiently is very important, but doing it manually takes a lot of time and can lead to mistakes. Teachers and class in charges often face difficulties while marking attendance and calculating attendance percentages. There is also a need for a quick summary that shows each student attendance details such as the number of days present and absent. Because of this, there is a requirement for a simple software solution that can store student data and automatically displays total attendance and absentees clearly. Now let's move on to the objectives of my project. The main objective of my student attendance manager is to automatically display each student's attendance report including the number of days they were present and absent. The system also provides a clear summary table that helps teachers quickly review and understand attendance records. This project has been developed as a console-based program using C++ concepts such as structure loops and vectors. It can generate attendance output in two forms. One is sentences based and the other is table based, making it both informative and easy to read. Now coming to the tools and technologies used in my project, the first and most important library I have used is IOStream. It is used for input and output operations in C++ such as taking input from the user and displaying results on the screen. I have also used stream which helps in formatting strings and storing multiple values as stream data. It makes it easier to handle and display attendance information in a clear way. Now let's move on to the program structure of my project. In this program, I have defined a structure called student, which stores details such as students' names, attendance percentage, and the list of days they were absent. I have also created functions like format days, which formats the dates properly as dd by mm, and join absent days, which combines all the absent dates into a single readable string. The main logic of the program calculates the number of days absent, present, and the attendance percentage for each student. Finally, the program displays the output in a descriptive way along with a summary table that clearly shows attendance details for all students. Now in this slide you can see the first part of my code. Here I have written single line comments at the top such as the file name and a short description. For example, student underscore attendance.cpp and print student attendance summary for September 30 days. These comments help describe what the program does and make the code easier to understand for anyone reading it. It's a good programming practice to write such comments at the beginning of your code so that others can quickly know the purpose of the program. Now on this slide, I have listed all the header files I used in my project. First one, IOStream is used for input and output like taking input from the user and printing results. Next one, IOManip helps formats the output neatly. Next one, string allows us to use text variables for things like student names. Next one, vector is used to store list, for example, the list of absent days for each student. Next one, stream lets us build and format strings easily. The last one is the algorithm provides common functions like sort and find. It isn't directly used in this code but can be useful for future improvements. Now on this slide, I have written using namespace std. This line allows us to write code instead of std double colon code and sin instead of std double colon sin. It makes the code shorter and easier to read, which is fine for small programs like this one. In larger projects, however, it's often better to use the std double colon prefix to avoid conflicts with other names. Now in my program, I have a structure called student that stores each student's name, and their attendance percentage and the list of days they were absent. To display absent days nicely, I use a function that converts a day number into a formatted string. For example, day 5 becomes 05/09, where 09 stands for September. I use a string stream to build this string. Functions like setW2 and setFill0 in single quote make sure single digit days are displaced with a leading zero. The insertion operator /09 part simply adds the month. Finally, oss.str function returns the formatted string that we can display using static. Here keeps the function linked to only this file, which is fine for this program. Now, this part of the code formats each absent day and joins them into a single string. The function fmdiy takes a day number like 5 and returns a formatted string like 05/09. We use a string stream to build the string and set w2 with set fill 0 in single quote makes sure single digit days have a leading 0. Another function takes the list of absent days for a student and joins them into one string separated by commas. It loops through all the days, formats each day using fmdmi, and adds a comma before each day except the first. Finally, it returns the full string like 05/09, 12/09, 18/09. Now, this function called join absent dates takes a list of absent days for a student and returns them as a single string. It goes through each day in the list and formats it using the fmdiy function, which turns a number like 5 into 05/09. A comma and a space are added between the dates except before the first one. Finally, the function returns the complete strings like 05/09, 12/09, 18/09, which we can display in the attendance summary. Now, this part of the code is the main function, which is the starting point of the program. It returns an integer, usually 0, to show the program ranked successfully. The next line, ios :sing underscore with underscore studio false, makes input and output faster by turning off synchronization with C style I/O. The line sin.tie null ptr unties sin from code, which also help make input operations slightly faster. These two lines are optional for small programs like this, but they are good practice when performance matters. Now, this part of the code creates a list of students with their attendance data. Each student has a name, the reported attendance percentage, and a list of days they were absent. Right now, this is a fixed data set written directly in the code, but later we could also load this data from a file or take input from the user. Now, this line defines a constant for the number of days in September, which is 30. We use this to calculate how many days a student was absent. Since it's a constant, the value cannot be changed by mistake. Now, this part prints the title of the attendance summary. The code also formats the attendance percentage so it shows as a whole number like 85 instead of 85.0. Now, this part of the code goes through each student in the list. It calculates how many days the student was absent and how many days they were present. Then it generates a string of all the absent dates using our join absent dates function. Finally, it prints the student's name, attendance, percentage, number of present and absent days, and the exact absent dates in a clear format. Now, this part prints a neat summary table of all students. It shows the student's name, reported attendance percentage, number of present and absent days, and the absent dates in columns. The code sets the column width and aligns the text so everything looks organized, and it also prints a line of dashes to separate the header from the data. Now, this part prints the summary table again, making sure attendance percentages show as whole numbers. For each student, it prints their name, attendance percentage, number of present and absent days, and the absent dates in aligned columns. The column widths are set so that all the data lines up neatly and the absent dates are printed after that. Now, this line returns 0, which means the program finished successfully. If it returned a different number, it would usually indicate an error. Now, this is the program output. It first prints a summary for each student, the student's name, their attendance percentage, number of days present, number of days absent, and the exact absent dates. After that, it prints a clean summary table with the same information in neat columns for all students. For example, for Arjun, name Arjun, attendance 85%, present 26 days, absent 4 days, absent dates 05/09, 12/09, 18/09, 25/09. This format helps teachers quickly see each student's attendance at a glance. Now, coming to the advantages and limitations of my project. Advantages: it automatically tracks attendance, it shows both a summary view and a detailed view. The output is clean and well formatted, and it is easy to change for other months also. Limitations: the data is hard coded, that means it is written directly in the program, not taken from the user input or a file, and the percentage is not calculated automatically from the number of days, it is entered manually. Now, coming to the conclusion and future scope of my project, my program successfully shows the attendance summary for all students. It uses C++ structures, loops, vectors, and formatting in an effective way. In the future, this project can be improved to take input from users or from a file to automatically calculate the attendance percentage and to save or export the data to a text or Excel file. So, this was my project, Student Attendance Manager. It helps to track students' attendance easily and shows both summary and detailed reports. Thank you for watching my presentation.